Happy Sunday. What it do? Hopefully you're having an amazing day and a beautiful holiday weekend, Memorial Day being tomorrow. In today's show, we'll be discussing the latest technical analysis as Bitcoin taps back above $27,000. And did you know it was exactly 8 years ago today that Ross Ulbricht received 2 life sentences for launching a website? Hashtag Free Ross. Also quoting Jimmy Dore, I am on board. I was not on board before. I thought Bitcoin was a toy that the rich guys like to play with. Now I understand it gives us all a voice. It gives us power. And quoting Max Kaiser, Bitcoin is volatile but mathematically guaranteed to increase purchasing power over time. And Michael Saylor recently did a poll which suggests that 84% of Bitcoin owners will only vote for a presidential candidate who supports the right to own Bitcoin. And quoting Bitwise Jenks, Bitcoin was created by God and discovered by Satoshi for humanity. It is the separation of money and state, representing the first borderless commodity for payment since gold, but digital. Also in today's show, $30 billion exits the U.S. banking system in just 1 week as deposit flight grows. We'll also be discussing Sleepy Joe reaching a tentative U.S. debt ceiling deal. I'll be breaking down this latest report, as well as Arthur Hayes says explosive times ahead for Bitcoin and financial markets as the U.S. debt deadline approaches. We'll also be discussing decoding the future of Bitcoin and gold from Michael Saylor, as well as his $14 million Bitcoin price prediction. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. And welcome everyone tuning in. This is pod episode number 1295. Hopefully you're having an amazing holiday weekend thus far. I'm your host JV, and today is May 28th, 2023. And as you can see, the market is pumping back in the green. We got Bitcoin up over 2% for the day, trading back above $27,200. Also Ether up 1%, trading back above $1,800. And as you can see, all the major cryptos pumping and in the green. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap back on the rise, above $1.1 trillion with about $23 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance also back on the rise at 46.5%, with the Ether dominance barely on the decline at 19.5%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Mass Network leading the pack up 12%, trading at $4.46, followed by Floki up 9%, followed by the Sandbox up 8%, trading just above 56 cents. And below that, we have an Injective and Sue, followed by Solana. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, the biggest losers, Hex and PulseX, Hex being down 14.5%. Also PLS down 7%. Some of the top gainers include XRD up 7%, Solana up 5%, and Sue up 5%, but overall pretty modest gains. Also checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're dead in the middle once again, rated a 50 in neutral. Yesterday was a 48, last week a 52, and last month a 64 in greed. So there you have it. Now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and check out the charts and the price action and what's popping. Here we go. Unlike previous few weekends, this one is turning out to be more positive for the King Crypto, which spiked to over 27,200 today. The altcoins also trade in the green, with Solana amongst the most notable gainers, with a 5% surge that helped it reclaim $20. So let's discuss Bitcoin above 27,000. Last week didn't go all that well for the primary crypto, especially after the latest rejection at 27.5 recorded on Tuesday. The bears took complete control of the market in the following few days, pushing it south to a 2-week low of 25,900 by Thursday. In fact, some analysts were even calling for a return to 20,000. The landscape started to change as the working week came to an end and Bitcoin quickly reclaimed 26,000. It even spiked to almost 27,000 by Saturday, but was stopped there at first. However, the bulls propelled a more impressive price increase today on Sunday morning that drove the crypto to a multi-day high of 27,300. Despite retracing slightly since then, Bitcoin is still up over 2% for the day, and as such, its market cap has neared $530 billion, and its dominance over the altcoins have increased a bit to now 46.5%. And we also notice Solana jumping 5%, and altcoins having slightly gains, but nothing too impressive overall. In breaking news, I mean, not so breaking, but it was exactly 8 years ago today that Ross Ulbricht received 2 life sentences for just launching a website, better known as Silk Road. So hopefully they free him sometime in the near future, but it is very sad to see that, the regulators, our governments, and taken it out on Ross. I think that is a little extreme. 2 life sentences for launching a website, for Christ's sake. But it is what it is. Quoting Jimmy Dore from a recent interview he did with Max Kaiser, he says, "I am on board. I was not on board before because I thought Bitcoin was just a toy the rich guys like to play with. But now I understand it gives us all a voice. It gives us power and it restores democracy." And quoting Max from the same interview, "Bitcoin is volatile, but mathematically guaranteed to increase your purchasing power over time." And as pointed out here, Michael Saylor shared a poll on crypto Twitter. "Will you require any presidential candidate to support your right to Bitcoin before they earn your vote?" And 84% said they will only vote for a presidential candidate who supports the right to own Bitcoin. Some of those candidates include Kennedy Jr., as well as DeSantis, the current governor of Florida, who is also running for president. So there you have it. And now let's break down our next story of the day. $30 billion fleeing the U.S. banking cartels just this week alone as the banking crisis continues. Let's break this down. That's right. New numbers from the Fed show the amount of money people are pulling out of their bank accounts is once again on the rise. According to stats compiled by the Fed's economic data system, depositors yanked $30 billion out of American bank accounts just from May 10th through the 17th. That represents an increase of more than $4 billion over the previous week. The U.S. banking system now has a total of $17.15 trillion in deposits compared to only $18 trillion 1 year ago. The deposit flight follows the failure of 3 large regional banks, including Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, and First Republic. The Los Angeles-based PacWest, which has been in the spotlight as the latest bank trying to keep afloat, is selling $2.6 billion in real estate construction loans in a bid to improve its balance sheet. And according to a Fed report, more than 700 American banks are considered to be facing significant safety and soundness risks due to the unrealized losses that exceed 50% of their capital. And in the report, the Fed calls out its own interest rate hikes as the core reason those banks are now in a precarious position. So they caused it upon themselves. And according to the CME Group's FedWatch tool at this time of publishing, 35.8% of the traders think the Fed will raise again rates next month. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. And do you feel secure keeping your fiat currency in a bank at a time like this? All I know is this: only keep in the bank what you're willing to lose at the end of the day. Because if they need your money, lo and behold, they will take, aka confiscate, aka steal your money, in which they cannot do with Bitcoin. With that being shared, now let's discuss the latest with the U.S. debt ceiling. According to this latest report, amid growing concerns of a potential default by early June, United States President Sleepy Joe and House Majority Leader Representative Kevin McCarthy reportedly reached an agreement in principle to raise the Fed's government's multi-trillion-dollar debt ceiling. According to a May 28th report from Reuters, citing 2 sources familiar with the negotiations, the tentative agreement to raise the $31.4 trillion debt ceiling was reached after a 90-minute phone call between Biden and McCarthy on May 27th. And since publication time, Biden had confirmed via Twitter, or his handlers, right, that the existence of an agreement in principle explaining that it will prevent the U.S. from facing catastrophic default. Biden noted that over the next day, the agreement would go to the U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate, and he urged both chambers to pass the agreement right away. Quoting President Biden, "Earlier this evening, Speaker McCarthy and I reached a budget agreement in principle. It is an important step forward that reduces spending while protecting critical programs for working people and growing the economy for everyone." Blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, McCarthy also took to Twitter to confirm the agreement in principle, alleging that Biden wasted time and refused to negotiate for months. Reuters reported that while the exact details of the deal were not immediately available, an agreement had been made to limit the U.S. government's spending for the next 2 years, excluding expenses related to national security. Quoting the deal here, negotiators have agreed to cap non-defense discretionary spending at 2023 levels for 1 year and increase it by 1% in 2025. This comes only weeks after the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned of a default risk as soon as June 1st if the debt limit isn't suspended or raised, urging Congress to act as soon as possible. As we all know, June 1st is 3 days away. And additionally, the U.S. Congressional Budget Office published a report on May 12th, emphasizing if the debt limit remains unchanged, there is significant risk that at some point in the first 2 weeks of June, the government will no longer be able to pay all of its obligations. Cry me a river. Now, in recent times, several analysts have shared a similar view that raising the debt ceiling could see more capital inflow into the king crypto. Now we're talking. On May 17th, we had Macro Jack, a former Wall Street trader, warning his followers in a tweet that the U.S. debt ceiling talks are all show. He emphasized how important it is to own hard assets, as the dollar will be printed into oblivion, while stating Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the race. You're damn right. And meanwhile, Jesse Myers, chief operating officer investment firm of OnRamp, reminded his 50,000 followers of what happened during the COVID pandemic, stating Bitcoin was the winner during the last rounds of stimulus, and he proposed the idea that if history might repeat itself if the debt ceiling were to be raised, as it would prompt the Fed to print more money. That's right, as pointed out here by Jesse Myers. Number 7, when the debt ceiling is lifted and credit contraction leads to economic crisis, they will have to print money on a massive scale. Bitcoin was the winner during the last round of stimulus. Facts. So there you have it. Do you think they have this under control? I have no faith in the government whatsoever, especially politicians and our so-called president, Sleepy Joe. They don't know what they're doing. I think they're going to just keep printing money until the wheels fall off. And I think this is ultra bullish for the king crypto. You know what I mean? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Now let's discuss some explosive times ahead as per Arthur Hayes, the ex-BitMEX CEO. Then we'll be discussing Michael Saylor on Bitcoin over gold, as well as his $14 million Bitcoin price prediction. And welcome again to everyone just tuning in to the live show. BitMEX founder Arthur Hayes says the macroeconomic environment is starting to look favorable for BTC. That's right. Let's go. In a new interview on the What Bitcoin Did podcast, the crypto veteran says the government will do what it usually does during a deadline crisis, which is wait until the last moment before raising the limit. And according to Hayes, lawmakers will likely use the debt ceiling crisis as an opportunity to get what they want from their political rivals. Quoting him here, usually what happens is they delay. Then, they get to the date. The market starts tanking, and then they get religion and say, oh, yeah, sure, we're just going to raise the debt ceiling. Why do we go through this song and dance? So the Republicans are probably going to get some concession on some particular piece of policy they think is going to be important in the next election from the Democrats, and they are in the last minute, they are going to come to a deal and they'll raise it by some token amount, and then everybody is happy again. Hayes goes on to say that the raise-in of the debt limit, along with the issuance of fresh liquidity to fund the U.S. government's debt and potential financial disruptions in the coming months, would provide the catalyst for a burst to the upside for BTC. Quoting him here, it's going to be interesting, the timing of that, because is that going to coincide with a sort of like the fall harvest cycle when we usually get financial disruption events with the banking crisis? Then you have the federal government issuing trillions of dollars of debt because they need to fund themselves. You're basically putting this powder keg together of a situation that's going to be exploding in Q3 and Q4 of this year. And I think ultimately it will be good for Bitcoin. So there you have it. Do you think likely Bitcoin will explode by the 3rd or 4th quarter of this year, as per what Arthur Hayes has to share? Let me know in the comments below. And to watch this video he did on the What Bitcoin Did pod, check the show notes below the video in the description. And now let's break down the latest from the Giga Chat himself, Michael Saylor, discussing Bitcoin over gold. Here we go. In a world where digital currencies are rapidly gaining traction, we have Michael Saylor, the executive chair and co-founder of MicroStrategy, the first publicly traded company to put Bitcoin on its balance sheet, and they currently hold over 140,000 BTC. He firmly believes Bitcoin is poised to eclipse gold as the leading asset. In a recent interview with Kitco News at the Bitcoin 2023 conference in Miami, Saylor shared his views on the future of Bitcoin, gold, and banking. Saylor presents a highly bullish stance on the king crypto, suggesting it will outperform gold, leading to a complete transition of gold investors into Bitcoin. Do you hear that, Peter Schiff? I mean, Peter has already capitulated and now launching his own NFT collection on the Bitcoin Ordinals, blockchain, which is very interesting, BRC20 tokens. He bases his argument on the digital nature of Bitcoin, viewing it as the digital synthetic successor to gold, with faster appreciation rates, lower cost of custody, and no counterparty risks. He also highlights the decentralized nature of Bitcoin's blockchain network, which offers protection against inflation and a store of value due to its limited supply cap of only 21 million. MicroStrategy's investment in Bitcoin since August of 2020 has proven successful, with a 140% increase in the asset's value, significantly outperforming other indexes and commodities. Saylor contrasts this performance with gold, which he sees as a failure due to its slow technological progression, centralized tendency, high holding costs, and constant debasement by gold miners. I think the key there is that gold is centralized, hence they could control and manipulate the price action. Now, Saylor, describing himself as a Bitcoin realist, predicts that the future of Bitcoin will involve large institutions, corporations, and churches, indicating the need for custodial and banking infrastructure for Bitcoin. He explains that due to the regulatory requirements, it is not feasible for corporate leaders to self-custody their BTC. The interview also touched upon the topic of bank failures, which Saylor views as political decisions rather than economic inevitabilities. He points out that politicians can choose to support the failing banks or allow them to collapse. This is fact, thereby affecting creditors and equity holders. He cites the recent failures of Silvergate, Silicon Valley Bank, and Signature, as well as First Republic Bank as examples, noting the Fed and the government Federal Reserve bailed out depositors while the banks were allowed to fail. And Saylor ended with a cautionary note on banking, advising against keeping money in the weak banks or banks located in countries with weak currencies. And despite this, he expressed confidence in U.S. deposits, but showed skepticism towards securities of smaller banks. So there you have it. He gave you the same warning I just gave you. Only keep in the bank at the end of the day what you're willing to lose. And now for his throwback $14 million price prediction, which is the absolute highest price prediction I have ever seen for Bitcoin, coming from Michael Saylor, and then we'll dive into some live Q&A. So yeah, this is good stuff, and this is going back to January of 2021. Keeping in mind, in 2021 we hit the all-time high, which currently sits just above $69,000. So quoting Michael Saylor from this interview, I think that demonetizing gold gets you to 500,000 per coin, and that's simply pulling all the monetary energy off the gold rock from gold bugs who believe is a store of value and a safe haven. Like Peter Schiff. It's important to note there are a lot of organizations and a lot of investors that don't use gold as their safe haven. They use government debt, sovereign debt, and so cash is a safe haven, and sovereign debt is a safe haven, and another safe haven people use to store value is index funds, bond index funds, and stock index funds like the Russell 2000 and S&P 500 and the Dow Index. So all told, I think there's between $300 and $400 trillion worth of fiat instruments, including cash, debt, stock, commercial real estate indices, and you look at all of that, between 50 and 75% is simply seeking a store of value as a container. Like when I buy the S&P 500 index or the Vanguard fund, I'm not buying it because I equally love all 500 S&P stocks equally in proportion to their market caps. I bought the index because I had $1 million and I knew if it was cash, it would be debased in purchasing power, and so I needed to put it into something which was going to return more than the economic hurdle rate or the cost of capital. And then Saylor ballparked that between $100 trillion and $300 trillion would seek a store of value in Bitcoin, and that's just in today's money. If Bitcoin were to reach the $300 trillion market cap that Saylor outlines, that would bring each Bitcoin to more than $14 million per coin. That's right. Check it out, quoting him here. So ultimately, the amount of monetary energy in the world that is looking for a safe haven store of value has got to be between $100 trillion and $250 trillion. Why not all of it? Why not $300 trillion or $350 trillion, the total sum of everything? In theory, all monetary energy that's simply looking for a store of value safe haven index should presumably drain out of real estate, cash, stocks, and bonds and into the Bitcoin network. And as that happens, the price discovery will return to real estate and bonds. The top is more than $100 trillion. It's somewhere between $100 trillion and $300 trillion in today's money. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the Giga Chad that we're likely to see a $14 million plus Bitcoin price one day, along with $100 trillion market cap for BTC. And with that being shared, fam, welcome to each and every one of you just tuning in today's live Sunday show. I want to give everyone a massive shout out. I appreciate all the comments as always. If you're new to the show, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to turn on all notifications so you don't miss out whenever I do happen to go live. And massive shout out to everyone in the chat. Satwise Jenks, I appreciate your support, hence why I read your quote you shared on crypto Twitter here this morning. I appreciate you, fam. Digital Dankness was good. Mark G, Jeff S, Michael Karami, UFO Nut, what's poppin' was good. PF, Coin Father, good to see the fam in the building. E-Coin, Mark G, Eloha, Ronald was good. We have Raven Boy Crypto. We got Grant Dunn. We got Johnny Midas. We got Ronald. Greetings to you all as well. We got Hector Ramos. We got Barry Lindert. We have Adam 2. We got Golden Giant. We got Anything Bitcoin. We got Tony Jeffries. Good to see the fam. Mike M, good morning. Appreciate you tuning in as always. Digital Dankness announced sold most of my alts and got more Bitcoin. That's what's up. Getting ready for the all-time high. Love to hear that. Congratulations, fam. Keep stacking them stats. Legends Valley Music Festival says Bitcoin to the moon. Send it and let's freaking go. Shall we? And yes, this is pod episode number 1295. Dankness says last bull run I did the same thing. I bought a ton of cheaper alts, and when they started to climb in price and looked like the sideways action of Bitcoin was going to lead into the bull run, I converted. Well, hopefully that worked out well for you, fam. Jeff S says good morning. Good morning, Jeff. Always a pleasure. He says strike up. That's what's up. Tony Jeffries from Liverpool in the building. Shout out to the UK. Adam 2, always a pleasure. Greetings to you as well, Golden Giant. Appreciate you tuning in live. Barry Lindert, happy day always, and happy holiday, Memorial Day to everyone out there. Holiday weekend. Hope you're enjoying yourself. And free Ross. Only RFK will consider a pardon. That is fact. So, it is what it is. We're never going to see a pardon from Trump or Biden, or it would have happened a very long time ago, as they both had the opportunity to do so and did absolutely nothing because they're anti-Bitcoin and they're pro-CBDC. So keep that in mind. Trump and Biden are both pro-CBDC, pro-central bank, pro-authoritarianism, and they're anti-Bitcoin. If they wasn't, they would have pardoned dude a long time ago. That's a fact. Ronald, greetings to all the Dutchies. Greetings out there, fam. Bitcoin is the best thing that has happened since the Beatles. Word up, facts. Greetings to all. Good to see you, Johnny Midas. Shout out to Callie. Grant Dunn, thank you, JV, for bringing all the news every day without failure. Very good channel. Just a big shout out on behalf of the Bitcoin community. A massive thank you and lots of love from the UK. I appreciate the abundance of love I'm receiving from the UK. Much love and much respect. I haven't been to London in a very long time. So would love to revisit. Hope your weekend is going well, says Raven Boy Crypto. Greatly appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying your holiday weekend as well, fam. Hope your weekend, likewise. It takes 5 business days for deposits to go through on strike. Serious? When you say stike, do you mean strike? Let me know. Ronald, I agree with Grant. Great channel. Greatly appreciate that, Ronald. Means a lot to me. Much love and much respect. eCoin says, aloha, JV. Aloha, fam. Greatly appreciate it as always. Also, I want to say I greatly appreciate the super chat contributions as well as the zaps via the Lightning Network. As you can see, my Lightning QR Bitcoin code on the screen. I received another 10,000 sats yesterday from Rain. So much love and much respect as always, as I greatly appreciate it. Send it. $48,000 by July. I mean, I'd love to see a $48,000 Bitcoin price action, so let's freaking go. You know what I mean? Well, JV, I wouldn't receive a paycheck either if there wasn't a deal, since I am still in the military. Oh, word. Well, special happy Memorial Day to those serving in the military, including Coinfather, as well as my brother, who is a retired Navy veteran there. So much love and much respect. More of a developer changed my ID. Oh, I see, Satwise. All good, fam. Just seen Bitcoin Exchange in Marbella, Spain. It is catching on outside the United States. Oh, yeah, and I read another story. Binance, the largest Bitcoin exchange in the world, they just opened up shop again in Brazil. I think they bought out, not Brazil, my apologies. They did something in Brazil, but something brand new announced today in Japan. I think they took over a local exchange, crypto exchange in Japan. I'll probably cover that in detail tomorrow. It just came up before my show, so I didn't get the full insights, but I wanted to point that out. A lot of exchanges are opening up shop overseas and leaving the United States and Canada due to the regulatory scrutiny, which continues, and the lack of clarity in the market, thanks to the SEC chairman, Mr. No Clarity Gary himself, as we call him here on the channel. Shout out to everyone in Spain. A beautiful place to be. That's what's up. Sailing with Twins. Good to see you, fam. Welcome home. I was a firefighter for the better part of a decade, says Dankness, so I understand the sacrifices that are made to serve your country and community. Much love to the military and first responders, and especially massive shout out to the firefighters as well. That's a selfless job, so much respect. Appreciate you doing what you do. Much love and respect. Smash the like, plebs. Thank you, Mark. You didn't do that for the thanks. It's because I want to protect my community and those in need, but thanks are appreciated. Yeah, much love and respect to Dankness. If you are ready to crack up, boom, hyperinflation means hypersonic wealth gains or losses. I would love to see super, Bitcoinization, as Max and Stacy put it at the recent event. 300 trillion, just a drop in the bucket, says UFO Nut. That's what's up. I heard the total addressable market cap nowadays is like $500 trillion. Imagine tackling that. Imagine, what better use case of energy than into the Bitcoin protocol at the end of the day? It's called game theory, and we're witnessing right now in full effect. Come to Beatles City, Liverpool. Oh, snap. Is that where the Beatles formed or where they're from? Good stuff to note. Will you be done soon with your service, correct? Yeah, Satwise, yes. Retirement ceremony, August 26th, but retirement date is March 1st, 2024, doing Skill Bridge program. Well, congratulations. Much love and respect to you and your family. Coming from Satwise. Appreciate that. Yeah, good stuff. So what are y'all most anticipating and excited for this year in crypto? Let me know. Naturally, the only thing that comes to my mind is Bitcoin halving, because it's literally only 11 months out. And we all know every 4 years, us Bitcoiners cannot wait for that cycle, because when that takes place, Bitcoin go up, because as Bitcoin number go up technology, because of the finite limited supply, there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin in existence. So it's the first form of money to ever exist for humans that has a finite limited supply. Don't get tricked by the centralized properties of gold. I know a lot of gold bugs like Peter Schiff will tell you it's decentralized. You know what I mean? It's not controlled. But the truth of the matter is the gold price action has been suppressed at least for the past 10 years. There's a few countries that hold the majority of gold. You know what I mean? And that's not a good thing as well. And obviously, it will continue to be a store of value. It's not going anywhere. It's existed for thousands of years. But Bitcoin has all the properties that gold has without any of the cons. It has all the pros without any of the cons, including the divisibility. One Bitcoin can be divided into 100 million Satoshis. So as far as a unit of account, that's a pretty big deal. You can't do that with gold. Another thing, it's uncorruptible. No one can change the protocol. Many banks like JP Morgan Chase have been fined like $1 billion for manipulating the gold. Also, new gold is introduced to the market every single year. They find it in the earth. And there's, reports of Elon Musk being able to find gold in different planets. You know what I mean? Allegedly on Mars. I don't know how much I believe that. But nonetheless, they can find more. You can never find more Bitcoin. So that alone, the finite limited supply, separates it from everything else. And when you add its decentralized nature, there's nothing else like it in existence. So as more and more people become orange-pilled, just like Jimmy Dore, he has over 1 million podcast followers. And even though Max Kaiser tried to orange pill him many times, it was something that Kennedy Jr. shared regarding the truckers in Canada that just clicked. And he realized Bitcoin protects our freedom, it protects our democracy, and it's needed because it gives the plebs the power. And without it, we're doomed. We're a slave race, right? We don't want to support our oppressors, but that's what you have to do with fiat money, with banking, cartels, and institutions. So, you know what I mean? Unplug from the matrix. The greatest way to unplug from the matrix, I truly believe this, is just stack sats. And right now, you have a great opportunity to do so. We're at 27,000. Keep in mind, back in 2021 in November, we hit 69,000. So you already know the trajectory of where we can go. You already know where we're heading. So take advantage of it. My question for you, are you ready for the Bitcoin halving? And what are you waiting for? And with that being shared, what's your price prediction for the peak cycle high for this cycle? I predict it will be sometime in 2025, because typically it's the year after the halving. We reached the cycle peak, in which we did in 2021 at 69,000. We did in 2017 at roughly 20,000, and we did back in 2013 as well. So let me know your thoughts so I can read some of your comments out loud. Great stuff, Megadon. Welcome, Megadon. I am looking for Bitcoiners in Liverpool. I am the only Liverpool Bitcoiner as far as I know. Well, that's what's up. Wait, Peter Schiff fooled? PF, hilarious. And what are your thoughts regarding him launching an NFT collection on the Bitcoin blockchain? Yes, Peter Schiff, the gold bug, the most notorious Bitcoin troll, launching NFT collection on the Bitcoin blockchain. What are your thoughts? Yeah, boy, Peter folded, all right. Everyone will fold. Bitcoin is power. Facts, Grant Dunn. That's what's up. Only other Bitcoiner with Liverpool blood is Sean O'Lennon. Shout out to Sean O'Lennon. That's John Lennon's son. Also a massive Bitcoiner. Got orange pill by Max Kaiser many, many years ago. Raven Boy Crypto says everyone's going to fold at some point. The question is, how late will you be? Facts. And everyone pays the price they deserve. I know you've heard that before. You know what I mean? He's minted an NFT on Lightning. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up, folks. Have a lovely Sunday, every Bitcoin fam. That's what's up, Grant. Greatly appreciate that. Hell yeah, it's official. It's an NFT on the Lightning. That is right. I covered this story in great detail yesterday when the story broke. If you missed it, be sure to check it back out. eCoin says Bitcoin scubarellas. Keep stacking them sats. Gold gondolellas. That's hilarious. Yep, totally focused on the halving, and the money printer continue to go. Shout out to Bring Facts. Dollar cost average all day. It don't stop, won't stop, can't stop. I feel like P. Diddy in the 90s. And rest in peace to Big. Of course, the Beatles are from Liverpool, born and bred in Liverpool like Tony. That's what's up. Good to note. Shout out to the Beatles. A ton can happen in 11 months. This is true. Anything can happen by tomorrow. The planet can blow up, for Christ's sake, for all we know, with the incompetent leaders that we have in the world. Made it a little late. What's up? All good. Appreciate you tuning in, Megadon, regardless. Much love and respect, as always, fam. I think Hong Kong will help start the frenzy out there, and then we will raise the debt ceiling here in the U.S. We are forced to print, and then people's excess money will go into Bitcoin, ETH, mid to low caps, in my opinion. Thank you for sharing, Michael Cerami. Much love and respect. I am massive. Southampton in the house. Shout out to the Southamptons. That's what's up. Adam 2 and Lightning. Bring it. Peter had been living off of his 2007 call of the 2008 crisis for 15 years, says Greggio. LOL. Hilarious, right? I can't get enough jokes about Peter Schiff. It's like the laugh and comedy continues and will always continue. And with that being shared, fam, now for a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. I broke down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as Bitcoin recaptured 27,000 and is back in the green. We also discussed it was 8 years ago today that Ross Albright received 2 life sentences for simply launching a website. Free Ross. Free Bitcoin. That's what's up. Also in today's show, we discuss $30 billion exited the U.S. banking system in 1 week as deposit flights continue to grow, as banking concerns continue, especially in the United States. We also discuss Sleepy Joe reaching a tentative U.S. debt ceiling. According to the report, it showed U.S. President Biden has urged the United States Congress to pass the agreement right away. What can go wrong, right? Also in today's show, we discuss Arthur Hayes says explosive times are ahead for Bitcoin and financial markets as the U.S. debt deadline approaches. And we also discussed Michael Saylor on the future of decoding Bitcoin and gold. I shared his latest insights from Bitcoin Miami conference, as well as his $14 million Bitcoin price prediction. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments below.